And I think that's a problem because how do you go through the draft, go through free agency, go through, you know, all these trades going on and you don't have a coach? Coaches have philosophies, offense and defense philosophies in the NBA. And what you're supposed to do is already have your coach in place with your general manager, and they have that relationship where the general manager says, hey, you have this certain, you know, philosophy on offense and defense. Tell me what type of players you want, and I will do my damnness to get them and make it happen. And then that's when you see the GM and the coach on one accord. That's when you see championships start floating up your trophy case, start filling it up. Because you got the two most important front office jobs on one accord doing the damn thing. That's how you start putting trophies in that trophy case. So, with that being said, how do you not have a coach? So now what the Knicks are doing right now, and I don't know if anybody's paying attention to it, they're going through free agency, trying to make trades, the draft, and they're getting players. But the only problem is you don't have a coach to understand, hey, what is your actual philosophy? And do these guys even fit that? So now you're going to look at what these players can do, and you're hoping that you can find a coach can fit what they do. It's backwards now. So that's why when I pull up the Joy Taylor clip to tie it all back together, if it's about basketball, then that situation with Angel Reese shouldn't even matter. So now you just became, now I think you're proving that part of Joy Taylor's point, that it was about that Angel Reese situation that made you a fan, that you hated Angel Reese that much that I got to absolutely be so pro Caitlin Clark and so anti-Reese. So now you made them tied together. You made them connected together. So then when Joy Taylor says it's a take like that and your behavior reflects that, she's not wrong in that instance. All the other stuff in that whole clip, in that whole segment, y'all can eat her up for that. All right. I'm talking about specifically that and how I literally just took it to that point that if you literally love basketball, the Angel Reese moment is, it don't matter. Right. Look, I'm gonna make this brief. I'm gonna make this quick. If you didn't see the live stream, I went on a crazy rant about Bill Goldberg. Look, I'm just gonna play it and I'm gonna explain why I went on this rant. All right, so we're gonna kick off the show like this. Here we go. Hey, wrestling fans, can we have a quick moment? All right, so I'm an Attitude Era baby, and I'm gonna say this shit right now, right here, right now, so there's no confusion. So when we do this another live stream in a couple of weeks for Saturday night's main event and the 13th for Evolution. So when we do the live stream, watch along on the 12th for Saturday night's main event, I'm going to say this, all right? Yeah, I'm going to say it now, but you're going to hear it again. Listen to me. Listen to me carefully. I do not want to see Goldberg in any more matches. I don't even want to see him in this match. All right? I love Goldberg when it was 1998. I loved Goldberg when he was on a wrestling streak during the Attitude Era. All right? Outside of that, you can keep Goldberg. All right? There is nothing that Goldberg can do that's going to make any of this match entertaining for me at all. He can't sell this match worth of shit. You know why? Because it's one thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the first thing that comes to mind is steel curtain, you know, rough, rugged, hard-hitting, Palomalu, James Harrison, you know, Joey Porter, Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green. You know what I'm saying? You think of just hard-nosed, smack you up the right. Hey, come on. Rod Woodson. Parnell Lake, talk to me now. You talk about defense, smart players, guys that are just going to make the right play, get after it. It's a certain aura, certain, je ne sais quoi, certain, razzle dazzle that comes with Pittsburgh and defense is synonymous, goes together. So I think the possibility of what that could have been would have been amazing. Y'all keep Jonnu Smith, because we're going to keep Minka. Let's just try. I would have found a way to try to, make that a situation where I wouldn't have gave up Minka Fitzpatrick. I think that's a part of this trade where I'm like, I probably would have tried to find a way to keep Minka Fitzpatrick. What happens if Tua Tagovailoa goes down again? I asked that is because, and I don't wish this on him. Obviously, we know to his story, we want the best for him. We want him to stay healthy. We want him to be able to have all his, nerves working. Be able to move properly, play with his kids, have fun and enjoy them. Be able to go on dates with his wife. Have a comfortable life, what you're supposed to have. We want that for Tua. But my thing is what happens if he gets hurt again? Because the probability is there. It's not at zero. It's damn sure ain't at zero. He's had a history, especially when it comes to concussions. What if he gets another one and he's not able to be there for an extended period of time? If you take that strap off of Gunter and put it on Goldberg, I'm gonna be highly irritated. And I'm gonna roast the shit out of you, WWE. All right, I'm a clown y'all. Oh, I'm a clown y'all if y'all mess around and after 2 minutes put that belt on Gunter. I'm a clown y'all for sure. Like straight up. This is not the shit I want to see as a wrestling fan, and I have yet to come across a wrestling fan that says, hey, man, I can't wait to see Goldberg and Gunter. Nah, I ain't heard it. And if you say that you're excited to see Goldberg and Gunter, I'm going to need to check your pulse. I'm going to need to get a actual test to see if you're human, because you got to be a robot. You got to be AI. You got to be, and I ain't talking about Allen Iverson. You got to be artificial intelligence. Well, it should be AS, because that's artificial stupidity. If you really want Goldberg and Gunter, if you really want this match, I think this is bullshit. I think it's a waste of time.
But it is also, to my point about the hamster wheel, like there's a reason why he hasn't had a quarterback. It's because they've been barely above 500 for years now, since Big Ben was there. And so they took Kenny Pickett, then they got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Like they need a real quarterback, and this is not the solution to that.
No. And I'm actually kind of slightly surprised that they gave up so quick on Justin Fields and Russ that quick.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Mhm.
I was slightly surprised. I got it. I understood that they were both on pretty much 1-year deals, prove it deals. But they again, what they had, even with Justin Fields, he wasn't the best option, but he made some plays and did what he could with that team. And then Russ took over, and then they were in the playoffs. And I get it. They went up against the Bills, but a lot of teams are going to lose to the Bills in Buffalo in the playoffs. So
Yeah. So, like, I guess the question is, at that, if you look at that, because Russ is clearly, and he's my quarterback now, so I'm saying this as realistically as possible.
make some headlines. Dame is no longer a buck. Now Giannis is mad. He didn't like how that went down. So there's a lot going on in the East. Some shakeups, man. There's about to be some furniture moving going on in that East, man. And honestly, now that we look at that, your general manager for the Knicks was the smartest thing he ever could have done. was just sit back and wait and just let it all fall. Let's just let everything fall and crumble in front of us, and then we'll make our moves. And that's kind of how it's kind of formulated. How I've been kind of watching the free agency and the draft and all this. Smart move by the Knicks GM. But let's talk about this though. The East, man. It's a lot of movement going on. You can start at the Miles Turner deal. You can start at Dame getting released. Wherever you want to start in the East. Giannis getting upset about the news. Wherever you want to start, it's all yours, man.
Well, those three are all essentially one topic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. So the Milwaukee Bucks waive Dame, and as a result of waiving Dame, they still owe him over the next 5 years $22 million, which is the most anybody in NBA history has been owed who was not under contract as the result of a waiver. Here's the thing. Dame is old. Dame is old. He has been injured through 2 playoffs back to back. He's coming off of an Achilles.
Yep.
It's a business. I understand wanting to move assets and move salary cap around so you can bring in Miles Turner. I think Miles Turner is a very good player. I'm happy he's not in Indiana anymore. So I'm never going to be mad at this move because it got Miles Turner out of Indiana. That being said, you couldn't have found anyone that would be willing to trade for him, for Dame. Wasn't any team desperate enough to...
That's a tough sale, bro.
It is. I get it. I mean, I wouldn't do it. If the Knicks did it, I would go to Madison Square with pitchforks and torches, right? So like, I understand that it's a hard sale. But I mean, if another team could have theoretically restructured his contract and like tried to get him for pennies on the dollar, I think it may have been worth it to help get you uncanceled. I will say that Diddy almost definitely did do trafficking. Whether the prosecution can prove it, whether the prosecution can or cannot materially prove it in court with admissible evidence, that doesn't mean he didn't sex traffic. It just is a matter of what they're able to show.
Yes, is what they're able to prove, and that's why. I love this. I love this show, Lincoln Lawyer. I absolutely love it. All right. Season 3 was amazing, but season two was my joint. All right. The shorty had them all messed up, and then next thing you know, anyway, I'm gonna watch it. But no, it's what can you prove? And in this situation, they're proving elements of colluding, but when you say the NFL, you can't stick the whole NFL on this particular case because it's hard to prove that all 32 teams, and mind y'all, it's technically 31 because the Packers are publicly owned. Some in the media were determined not to allow that to happen, with both the NFL and the NFL Players Association refusing to release a 61-page ruling by system arbitrator Christopher Droney in the collusion grievance regarding guarantees in the contract of certain veteran players. 2 members of the media, Pablo Torre and yours truly, Mike Florio, kept pushing. We had a friendly competition to see who get it first. Pablo won. I'm glad he did. In the NFL media ecosystem, more than 90% of the journalism isn't journalism at all. Is positioning for advance notice of an announcement that inevitably will be made. The real journalism, and the only real journalism, is in the space comes from finding out the things they, referring to the NFL, don't want us to know. And they here, the NFL and NFLPA, didn't want anyone to know the outcome of the collusion grievance. Although the NFL won, the NFL lost. As Droney wrote at pages 55 and 56 of the January 14th, 2025 ruling, there is little question that the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees in veterans contracts at the March 2022 annual owners meeting. In other words, the NFL wanted its member teams to collude.
Doing good, and it's especially good that you have someone who passed the bar for what we're going to be talking about, because we're going to be talking about some sports law today.
We are. We're going to talk about that. Uh, the
And a
NFL.
lot of other stuff. And a lot of other shit.
Oh, it's a lot. We got a full docket for you guys, so we're not going to waste any more time. Let's dive into it. Let's start right here, because we're going to get your law expertise later in the show, and I want to handle that later in the show.
Yep.
Obviously, we're going to spend a good time on this, so let's get to it. NBA free agency frenzy has gone crazy. If you have alerts for Shams on your ESPN app, you've been getting them literally about every hour. Like, and I'm talking about not just today, not just yesterday, but since Sunday, Saturday, Friday, like literally like last 4 days, my alerts from Shams has been absolutely bonkers during this whole free agency period. But I want to start right here, Randy, because you're infamous on the show for having nicknames. Your nickname today it spells a lot for your team. So let's start right there. Knicks finally have bench depth, and I know you're happy about it. So talk about it.
I'm very happy about it. I am happy that we got Jordan Clarkson from the Utah Jazz, the from 2020 to now the points leader off of the bench. Former sixth man of the year. I love that for us. I think it's great to get a quality ball handler that can come off of the bench during the non-Brunson minutes. We got Yabu. We took him from the 76ers, which is already worth it. But on top of the fact that we pushed them further into poverty, we took an Olympian who played very well during the Olympics, and yet another big man adding some size off of the bench. Because the big criticism that I made of this was, you're gonna suck this next season. There's no Zion's gonna play like 5 games. You have Jordan Poole. Like, it's not a good situation. And because of that, their pick next year is going to be very high. You're probably going to have like a top 5,
a lottery
at least 10, definitely 10, possibly 5 pick. A lottery pick, exactly. Giving that up to move, I think it was like 10 spots to get Derek Queen. They would have had to see something very special in Derek Queen to make that make sense. And
yeah,
that's a lot to put on Derek Queen, who was like a middle of the first round pick, to say, I'm giving up on the top guys of next year, which I probably will have access to, for Derek Queen. What did you get a chance to look at Derek? Like, what do you think? What do you think Derek Queen is going to add to the team, if you had to say as why they would be willing to give so much to make that happen?
Well, before I answer that, I just think, just mentally, and obviously I don't know Joe Dumars, but I just think this is just him mentally following his plan and not being afraid to take on the criticism.
Okay. For next year with the Hawks, I don't know if you picked up on that, because I heard a lot of people talking about that. Like, what are the Pelicans doing? Like, have the Pelicans lost their mind? Has Dumars lost his mind? I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
So here's my thing. Joe Dumars was part of the Bad Boy Pistons, all right? And I bring that up to make my point. The Bad Boy Pistons did everything not the conventional way of the basketball times that were going around. They pretty much ushered in the rough and rugged, beat your ass defense type of basketball. All right, don't get me wrong. There was some physicality in the in the 80s and all this, and fights happen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the Bad Boy Pistons of an attitude. All right, I'm talking about the attitude,
style of play,
the attitude that came with it, and it translated into what that team was, what the Bad Boys Pistons was. All right, take that same mindset, and believe it or not, I think, and I just feel that Joe Dumars is applying that same kind of mindset to building this roster.
Aggressive whole NFL, because the allegations were that the NFL ownership, Roger Goodell, and the teams were all working together for this collusion. And so that's why, like, say the Chargers example, it's like, well, that shows that these two teams were colluding. This doesn't necessarily show the NFL. They were responding to the NFL's meeting.
Yes. And that's the crazy thing. And I'm glad that you worded it that way, is because, and I don't mean to compare the cases, but I was talking about this with my wife, and people don't take what I'm about to say as a Diddy's going to get off those trafficking charges, because I think they're trying to put those charges on him. But all the prosecutor is showing is that he's just a nasty motherfucker. That's all they're proven. And so when you go after certain things and certain charges, or certain, hey, I'm trying to stick him for this, okay, but you're actually proving that he's just a nasty motherfucker, and you haven't proved that he's a trafficker. Obviously, something that the NFL got an issue with, collusion is a word that gets thrown on the NFL owners a lot. Fans, players, former employees has accused the NFL of collusion many times, but there might be a chance that they actually might got caught actually doing. Let's listen to Mike Florio for just a second.
This is one of those moments for me that can be a little awkward, because it involves NBC. Daniel Kaplan, writing for awfulannouncing.com, had an item explaining that in the pending appeal of that jury verdict last year against the NFL in the Sunday ticket case, and I'll defer to the story that we posted. The background is out there. Basically, the NFL put its thumb on the scale, allegedly, or as accepted by the jury, actually, driving up the price of Sunday ticket to protect the CBS and Fox over-the-air broadcast packages. That resulted in a $4.7 billion verdict that would have been trebled if it had been upheld. The judge threw out the damages, but did not throw out the finding that the NFL had violated the antitrust laws by requiring DirecTV, and now YouTube TV and YouTube generally,
when you say like not practicing, are you literally just not doing anything for a couple days? Or are you wanting just, hey, more like live game speed practice?
If we're going to be here for 30, 45 minutes, let's touch up. Let's get something out of this. It's a waste of time to be here for 45 minutes and we just, kind of walking through who we playing. They ain't walking through nothing. But then when it's in games, you wonder why falls in the crack, because you point switching all the time. And then you get in the games like point switch, but we ain't even close to even point switch because they going faster than what we expect. I think it do need to be a little bit more emphasis on like actually getting something out of practice.
Did you know PG is the only player that's playing from his draft class still in the league? That is crazy.
Hey man, that's PG, who's been in the league for a minute. Brings it him and Paul Pierce bring up a great point. How do you not condition your body? If the game speed, when it's game time, 82 games of it, is so fast paced, but you're not simulating that, you're not going to be ready for that. I'm starting to get just tired out already over the last 3 years on how the media, all right, let me preface it, how the media is talking about Caitlin Clark and is really biased. And it has some weird tones to it. It has some, hey, be happy, shut the fuck up, and just play basketball. It has that type of tone. All right. And I'm just gonna say this. I just think it's crazy because the talk around Caitlin Clark isn't basketball, the media wise. And to Caitlin Clark's credit, she has always done her damnedest, and her opportunities to say, hey, it's not about all this other shit y'all talking about. Can we talk basketball? So to her credit, this is why this segment is not about Caitlin Clark and what she's saying and what she's doing. This is about how the media is really controlling how people talk about Caitlin Clark. For instance, all right, y'all know who this guy is, right? You know who this guy is. Yeah, Dave Portnoy, loudmouth, all right? Said some off the wall shit, You know, whatever, how you feel about him, but he's part of the media that I'm talking about that is starting this talk around Caitlin Clark that is not about basketball. Don't do what Dame did and stay in that small market team while you still got a lot of value to your name and a lot of good basketball, elite level basketball left in your body. You're 30 years old. You still got a elite, in my opinion, at least a good 7-8 elite years. And Giannis, who keeps himself in great shape, stays relatively healthy. Hey, if you can play at this elite level, we having a conversation. Obviously, you won an MVP, multiple MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years. Been in MVP races damn near every year. Sir, you've overachieved. You've done enough for Milwaukee. What's left for you? How the mighty have fallen? Well, I mean, can we look at their roster right now? Here's the next point of this. Your roster is no longer that same championship pedigree roster anymore. All right. Look at their roster right now. And this is including players signed. All right. Jamari Bouye, AJ Green, Gary Harris, Andre Jackson Jr., Kyle Kuzma. I ain't even gonna say his name. But my point is, looking at some of these names, Bobby Portis, he was there. All right. There's a lot of people in here that don't got a lot of championships to speak of. Kyle Kuzma's luckily got one. That's crazy. But Giannis is pretty much, again, going to be the championship grit that's on this roster. Bobby Portis was there. Everybody else is gone. Drew, gone. Middleton, gone. Lopez, gone. Budenhauser, the coach, gone. I mean, when you look at a lot of what made up that championship team and brought so much success is no longer there. So what I'm saying is you are in a rebuild. This is a rebuild. And unfortunately, what they're putting around you is not anything that's I don't think there's nothing that's going to move a needle and say, hey, we're competing for a championship.
Yeah. Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. LW Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mark.